Hey everybody, 4 down and one more heat to go in the American Song Contest. Yes, episode number 4 has gone and passed. We will know our qualifiers for that in the upcoming week, and we got our 3 qualifiers from the previous week, from week 3. So I think overall the show has continued to take some twists and turns, but it's starting to increase in its production, and let's dive into what happened. Kicking things off on the night, we got our 3 qualifiers, and while I thought the first one announced was going to be Texas, it was in fact Colorado, Riker Lynch, who ended up claiming the top spot and likely winning the televote on the night. To come from outside of the jury to claim the first position is quite a feat, so I think he's got a huge fan base and a very, very good chance to make the final now. Qualifying second was Alabama Nico, which I expected even before I knew even before they showed last week how much of the percentage they had in the voting. I think they got through pretty swimmingly, and then Grant was announced third. Now, they did something a little different this week. They actually did show us the final running order with the televote and the jury combined. So after Texas, it went Alaska, Florida, New Jersey, Delaware, Louisiana, Northern Mariana, South Dakota, South Carolina. So Alaska, Florida, New Jersey, I think all have a chance maybe to make the redemption. At this point, I feel like New Boot Goofin' is a lock for the redemption, not only for the memes, but because it's a great song. I think it's actually leading in a lot of streaming categories as well for non-qualifiers. So right now, I think there's only one real spot left for the redemption. It's either going to go to New York or potentially Alaska or Florida, or maybe one of the other acts that kind of, I think Yam House has some decent streaming numbers as well. So it looks like it'll go to one of them at this time, but we'll have to see what happens in week number 5 and who ends up not qualifying then. It'll be interesting if they're going to do the voting for Heat 5 in real time, because there's no way for us to, I guess they could know, but there's no way for us to know if a week 5 non-qualifier would be in one of the semis. I'm guessing New Boot Goofin' would be in semi 1, and then maybe another non-qualifier would be announced for the next week ahead of time. So it'll be interesting how they move all that, because if we don't know who the qualifiers are in general for Heat 5 before Semi 1, then Semi 1 would have to have only acts from 1 through 4, and all the acts from 5 would have to be in Semi 2. And I don't think they're going to lump them together like that. I think they want to spread them apart. So we'll have to see how all of that shakes out as well. I'm guessing we're in for yet another change to how the voting is done and introduced and announced. And we'll just have to see how that goes. So kicking into the week itself, the audio mixing was the best yet. Everything felt so much crisper. The vocals felt like not only louder, but clearer. There weren't a lot of fluctuations and dropping. The backing tracks weren't interfering. They were working together if they were being used. I think vocally and just sound-wise, when I was watching the show, it felt like the best produced show to date by a wide margin, especially over the last 3. So hopefully they can keep that up going into future shows. We also didn't get as many commercial breaks. They announced early on kind of in the show that Wells Fargo, being kind of their core sponsor of the show, made for only 60-second commercial breaks. So they really, really are listening to probably the Euro fandom, right? Because I think we're keeping this thing alive at this point. I think a lot of our viewership, them even giving us a call out during the show, citing that a lot of Euro fans are staying up to the wee hours just to watch this live. So I think they're starting to realize that, they need to appeal to everyone they can to get as much viewership as they can. So then we dip into all of the songs on the night. Of course, it was Washington Allen Stone who ended up taking home the jury qualifier, and I don't think anyone was surprised by that at all. Grammy nominated, has an amazing voice, has a very large career behind him and probably ahead of him too. He's simply a phenomenal talent. The song was good. I think it was the staging that really brought it to life. I don't think it's a song I'll listen to outside of the competition, but on stage, the way he delivered it was monumental. It was amazing. So absolutely deserved. We all saw him going through. The next three in line, Jared Lee, who got second with the jury. I thought it was a really great staging. The song was a little strange and almost a little kind of odd at time. The lyrics were a little bit creepy. I don't know how to say that. But it was good. It was pretty good overall. The Crystal Method is something wild and out there that is not for me personally. It was fine. It again is not something I would listen to outside of the competition. But I think it's going to have a very dedicated fan base that'll probably get it through. And third was Bree Steves with Plenty Love, and that was one of my favorites on the night. I thought she delivered a phenomenal performance. I thought the staging was very elegant, very simple. You had just the lampposts with very nice orange kind of sunset background. She had a wonderful voice, broke into that rap during the bridge. It was one of my favorites on the night. I'll be very upset if that does not go through to the next round because I think it's very deserving. And the only other two songs that I'll really talk about would be Stella Cole, of course, DIY, very in your face, very fun. If there's something that's out there lurking, I guess, outside of the jury votes that has a chance to win the televote, I think it's DIY that has a good chance to sneak in there. And Alexis Cunningham, actually. I know the staging was kind of like if you took Ashes to Ashes, Anna Bergendahl, and Ireland 2018 and just smushed them together. And that was the staging. And it worked. It was great. And she sounded really good. The song's really catchy. That's another, it's Alexis, Stella, and Bree that I've all added to my playlist. The other songs, I'm not really listening to. Maybe they'll grow on me a little bit. But those are my three favorites right now. I would love it to be those three going through to the next round. But as far as who I think will qualify, I'm going to say Crystal Method goes through for sure because of their fan base, because there's nothing else in this heat like that song, like that performance. It was so in your face. They're getting through. Crystal Method is through. I think Bree Steves is going through. I think she, like Crystal Method, brought something that no one else brought. My worry for Alexis Cunningham is that you also had Savannah Keys, right? Two blonde girls singing not country-ish pop kind of mix of songs, or at least have those vibes in the staging. I think both of them are going to compete for votes and end up probably knocking each other out, especially since Savannah also had a pretty decent jury showing. So I think both of them are going to have decent televote showings as well and end up hurting each other. And then that would leave my third qualifier, and it's between either Jared or Stella. I'm leaning Stella. I think Stella gets through. I think she just crushes the televote and finds a way through. So my guess is Crystal Method will be announced first. I think Bree Steves second and Stella third. And I think Jared Lee will just miss. There's something, it had great staging, but there was something just off about the song that I don't think will resonate with people. So now we are down to the final 11 songs. So have we heard a winner? Post in the comments below if you think we've heard the winner of the American Song Contest, or if the winner is going to perform next week on Monday with the final 11 songs coming up. And one of them is Maryland. And I am giving you all a challenge that if you hear the word crabs or you hear the word Old Bay during the postcard, you have to drink. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that, because he's going to say it a lot. If Cisco's truly from Maryland, he's going to say those things a lot. So we'll have to see how that goes. We'll have to see how he performs, if he can still perform. And hopefully they give us some more details in the next show about what's going to happen, because we can't wait for those qualifiers from Heat 5 if semifinal is the next week. We can't wait until the week of, because then you couldn't have any of those qualifiers in that semi. And I'm sure they want to mix it up, taking two from each, and then the auto qualifier from one for each. So it'll be a very interesting week. I'm hoping the audio quality and production is kept the same way it was this week, because it was really, really good. And I guess I didn't have that much to say about this episode, but we'll see about the next one. So have a good one.